friends. Welcome to October, and the sequence that we will be doing this month is really all about surrendering and releasing. In order for us to receive, we have to first release to make space for the new. And in this class today, we're going to look at ways to increase energy in the body whilst calming the mind. And the oils that we're using in today's practice this month is really to assist us with emotional healing in releasing stagnant energy, feelings, or any blockages within our energy system as well. And we'll be working with backbends, accessible backbends, to assist us in letting go of difficult feelings. There are 4 blends that we're using in this month's practice. They are Citrus Bliss, Serenity, also known as Lavender Peace, Balance, and either the Elevation blend, the Adaptive blend. If you have Clementine as well, which is a straight up oil, you could substitute Elevation for Clementine as well. This is really part of döTERRA's Mood Management collection, or the Emotional Wellness collection. And I've decided to use this pack because it does foster physical, emotional, and spiritual healing. And so the combination of oils and yoga provides a cathartic experience that can be woven into any therapeutic style of yoga. And the intention of this practice is to create emotional balance. And it's important that we start with this practice by creating a safe space for ourselves. It's important that you do this before your practice, so please go ahead and diffuse 2 or 3 or even 4 drops of frankincense in your diffuser. Switch that on now and settle on in for a beautiful practice. Remember, frankincense does support healthy cell renewal. And from an emotional perspective, it brings stability and protection, especially when the heart is feeling vulnerable, which can quite often happen when we're in a yoga practice. We really are opening up the energy channels in our body. And sometimes this can bring deep, held sensations or feelings, emotions to the surface. So we want to allow a safe space for these emotions to surface and for us to move through the emotional experience in a way that feels safe. Generally, as we practice, we limit the amount of water intake. So it is my belief that we drink enough water before our practice, and then we sustain from water throughout our practice. If you feel parched at any point or you need to take a sip of water, please, of course, feel free to do so, but I won't be cueing water breaks. You may also wish to add a drop or 2 of wild orange essential oil to your water once you have completed your practice. Either that or even a drop of Meta Power or Smart and Sassy or Slim and Sassy is also a really nice option. And the intention with this is to support healthy digestion. It's a really beautiful aroma. Any citrus or citrus blend will create these joy bubbles within the system. I like to use citruses to foster optimism. And sometimes in my life, I can feel very intolerant, even if it's of myself or perhaps the people in my life as well. And I find that citruses are really helpful for tolerance as well. So, whenever you're ready, settle in. Take a couple of deep breaths in of your Citrus Bliss blend. You may also apply some of the Citrus Bliss blend to your neck. And then settle on into child's pose. From now on, we breathe in and out through the nose, constricting the back of the throat for a deep oceanic sound called Ujjayi breath. And let's make this an active child's pose where the arms are stretched forward, the fingers are spread wide, and the arms are lifted off the mat. So the arms are active. Your seat is pressing into your heels. And as you breathe, you can feel your belly pressing against the thighs, gently massaging your organs with every single breath. And we set an intention for today's practice to let go of old limitations and insecurities. Just a few more breaths here, breathing into the belly. Moving our way into tabletop. We'll be practicing cat and cow with lion's breath. So lion's breath is a forceful exhale out through the mouth, sticking the tongue out as much as possible to warm the back of the throat on the breath out. The inhalation we'll do as we dip the belly down and open the chest, and the exhalation of lion's breath will be done on the cat stretch. So breathing in to lift the chest, open up through the neck, and breathing out to round through the spine, tuck the chin in towards the chest, and open up through the back body. 5 breaths in your own time. Remembering to keep the hands directly under the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips for a firm, solid foundation. And ideally, the only thing that's moving here is the spine. You're undulating back and forth, warming up all of the muscles along the spinal column, and at the same time, practicing lion's breath. And when you have completed your 5 rounds, find a neutral spine. Sit back on your heels and grab your elevation blend, or adaptive or clementine, whichever you're working with. Take a couple of drops into your hands, apply to the back of the neck, and then take a deep breath in from your palms, inhaling the aroma, allowing this scent to energize the body and calm the mind. We are letting go of lower energy vibrations here. These can manifest as old habits and addictions. And we're elevating this feeling of self-worth. So dropping that which isn't serving and cultivating more of that which does. Once you've taken a few breaths here, please make your way to the top of your mat for Tadasana pose, mountain pose. I like to stand with my feet hip distance apart in this pose, but if you're more used to bringing the feet to touch, that's fine too. There's a slight little bend in through the knees so that the kneecaps are lifted up, activating the thighs. And here we activate our bandhas, so Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. This is likened to the pelvic floor lifted in and up and the lower belly drawn in. These are energetic seals within the body. So what we're doing with this is drawing these seals in, activating them so that the energy can circulate in our body, in our torso as we're practicing. Your weight is distributed evenly through the left and right feet. Your palms are facing your body, your shoulders rolled back and down. The spine is long, so you feel like the crown of the head is lifted up towards the sky. And then wave your weight onto the left foot and draw the right into tree pose. So either allowing the foot to be placed on the ground for stability, or drawing the foot to the inner left calf, or even to the inner left thigh. What's really important here is that the foot is not pressing against the knee. So it's either on the calf or on the inner thigh, pressing the right foot into the left leg and the left leg into the right foot. This culmination of energy into the center. Hands either at heart center in prayer position, or you can lift your arms up into a V shape. And try and take your gaze up, just above your eye line. And creating this sense of confidence as you look up. Take 2 more breaths here. And very gently and mindfully come out of the pose in exactly the same way you went in. Slowly, mindfully. Let's try that on the other side. Left foot now comes in to either foot, calf, or inner thigh, pressing into the right side, and the right side also pressing into the left. What could be quite common here is the settling into the hip. So I want to encourage you to draw in and up through the standing leg, making sure that your hips are level to the ground and your shoulders are level to the ground. Hands either at heart center or open up in a V shape. Opening up through the heart center, the chest, gaze up. 1 more breath here. And mindfully return the foot, mountain pose. Sun salutations. Take a deep breath in as you lift your arms up overhead. Exhale as you fold into Uttanasana. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, step the right foot back into a low lunge. Left foot joins and press into downward facing dog. This is your first dog of the day. So take a little moment to pedal out the feet, waddle your hips from left to right, and then find some stillness. Your arms are strong. Biceps wrapping around the ears, the neck long, chin tucked ever so slightly to allow for space in between the ears and the shoulders. On the next inhalation, ripple forward into plank pose. And if you feel you need to drop your knees here, then please do so. As you exhale, slowly move your way through down onto the floor. And then inhale into a baby cobra, rolling the shoulders back and down, tucking the elbows in towards the body, lengthening through the legs, pointing the toes, pressing the tops of the feet down, but lifting the kneecaps up. Exhale, release. Press into child's pose. Tuck the toes under and press into downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Step the right foot in between your hands. Left foot joins, halfway lift as you breathe in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift up to standing, arms lifting up overhead. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Step your left foot back into a low lunge. Right foot joins left, find downward facing dog. Hold here for a few breaths. If you need to bend your knees in down dog in order to get a long spine, then do that. Much more preferred than having straight legs and a rounded spine. So always prefer the knees bent than a round spine. Inhale as you ripple forward into plank pose. Drop your knees down to the ground, tuck your elbows in as you slowly lower down towards the earth. Untuck the toes, roll the shoulders back and down, find a baby cobra. Exhale, release, press back into child's pose. Downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in, a long breath out. Inhale, look forward. Step forward with your right foot into a low lunge, left foot joins, halfway lift. Exhale, release. And as you inhale, lift up to standing, breathing in, lifting your arms up overhead. And as you breathe out, bring your hands into heart center. You find Samasthiti, which is mountain pose, but the hands at the heart. Take a breath. Reconnect with your intention to let go of old limitations and insecurities. And step your right foot back. Turn to face the side of your mat. Your legs are now in a wide leg position. Bring your hands to your hips, breathing in as you lift and lengthen, and breathe out as you find a wide-legged forward fold. Your options here are to either bring your hands onto your thighs, onto your calves, or onto the floor. We're really stretching in through the inner thighs here. 2 more breaths. The option here as well to have your head hanging and dangling if your hands are touching the ground. But if your hands are on your thighs or your shins, keep the spine long and the neck and head in alignment with the spine. 1 more breath. And release. Wherever your hands are, I'd love for you to bring them onto your hips, but bend your knees ever so slightly to activate the thighs. And then slowly, mindfully, come to a standing position. Keep your legs wide. Turn to face the front of the mat. Now your legs are in a lunge position with your left foot in front. Ground the back foot at a 45-degree angle. Bend through the front knee and find warrior 1. Your hands lifted, arms lengthened. There is a squaring off of the hips and the shoulders as you face the front of the mat. Biceps again wrapping around the ears. A sense of pressing down into the feet whilst lifting up out of the torso. This opposing energy always at play in our practice. And keeping the legs exactly how they are, release your hands so that you clasp your fingers behind your back. Roll the shoulders back and down, extend the arms. This will create a baby backbend in through the upper chest. And as you breathe in, lift and lengthen through the heart space up to the sky. And as you breathe out, find humble warrior. Bringing your body to the inside of your left knee. Arms can lift up towards the sky, head released so that you are gazing towards your back foot. Take a breath. Stay for the exhale. Keep your body and legs exactly where they are. Release your hands onto either side of your front foot. Take your body weight onto the front foot and shorten your stance. Keep your feet both facing the front of the room and find pyramid pose. So the back foot is still at a 45-degree angle. except this time the front leg is now lengthened and straight, and so is the back leg. So your stance is shorter, your hips are still facing the front, your chest is reaching towards your front thigh. Remember, if this feels uncomfortable for the lower back, you can have that spine parallel to the ground. Hold here for a breath or two. If you need to lift your back heel off the floor so that the toes are pressing down as opposed to the full foot, that's a nice modification to allow the gentle stretch in through the legs here, especially the front leg. And now, as you release out of this pose, keep your feet where they are. Ground your left hand either to the earth or a block if you have one handy, or even